Okay, so welcome back to the Northern Cape. Of course, that's the first of 8 this afternoon, and a little bit of a disappointing run from Sexy Cinderella, but the full master of the sea has been here to pick up the pieces. And of course, that man's back in town, Craig Zaki. We'll chat to him in just a moment. Well done to M, well done to Corrie Lensley and all the owners involved over here. Well done, Craig. Good to have you, of course, say in the Northern Cape. Unfortunately, you were stood down the last meeting, but many punters as you walk into the race course. Biggest fan is Craig Zaki, and it's great to have you back in the Northern Cape.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, it was unfortunate. After last Saturday, I got off my last ride. I was a bit dehydrated, and they played the 48-hour into effect with me and couldn't make it the Monday. But glad to be back again today and glad to start off the day like this.
Okay, so now just before we chat about this individual, we're only moments away from the Sun Met. Of course, a horse that's very special to you is Vardy, and is he doing well back at home?
I'm sure he is. I had a word with Adam earlier this weekend. He's absolutely happy with the way he's pulled up and he's gone about his run. Apparently he's flying at home. He's nice and fresh, and I'm just glad I'm on him for the Met.
Now we know the draw's just around the corner. In terms of that barrier draw taking place, it doesn't really come into account with him, does it?
It depends. Over the 10, I think he's also can sit handy. I mean, in the Winter Classic, I sat second and he absolutely romped home. He's not also needs to come from last, but it all decides on the draw and the pace of the race, and just decides on him on the day. He puts himself in the race where he's happy, and I just leave it up to him.
Lovely stuff. Now going back to this individual, of course, master of the sea, you got a beautiful tone to the race from Sexy Cinderella. Once you hooked out, pretty much race over from there.
Yeah, got a nice, I wouldn't say I was behind it getting a lead, but I only had a length to fend off on it, and it was going really well through the 400. Mr. Lensley gave me a lot of confidence, telling me how he needed that last run, and that lifted my spirits on him, and he won a great race. He's only going to improve from here.
Now you are in town, of course, for Corrie Lensley, so I'll chat to him with regards to the rest of his rides. Just a man that studies the computer form. Must we include you throughout the afternoon? What could be your next best?
I'd say my earlier rides, Brandon, are probably my best chances today. There is 1, 2, maybe 3 horses that I can't really see winning, and they really need to improve from their last outings. But early on in the day, besides the 4th race, I'd say I'm pretty competitive.
Lovely stuff. And track, happy with it, how it's out there?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. My horse never faltered. I thought it was consistent and happy. Just well done to Mr. Lensley for the support once again. Great training feed to him and his team, and to the Winning Connections, well done, and to my sponsors, Moots, Fontaine and Volkerboschiff. Thank you.
Well done, Craig. Good to have him back in the Northern Cape. Of course, many punters will be following him. Mr. Lensley, as always, congratulations. Of course, he was always going to have a big chance in a field like this, and a good turn of foot at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know what, we had problems as was after that second run here by me. We had a hoof problem with him. We sorted it out. He needed the previous run. He ran well up until 150, and then he just pegged there. But very nice ride from Craig. I said to him when he got off the horse, I said, you can see he's riding with a lot of confidence. It's wonderful what a good horse does to a jockey. They lift their spirits, and then they feel they can conquer the world. And that's what's happening with him at the moment. You know, the horse Vardy is good to him, and I think that will only help him going further with his career.
100%. Now, Mr. Lensley, later on in the day, of course, you're the most transparent as they come. We need to, of course, keep Kimberley Racing alive. What can we give the guys for later in the program?
Like Craig said, we're strong in the first 4 or 5 races. That 1800 maiden plates, you know, that those 2 fillies I got in there, they have to show a lot of improvement. But a horse like Mighty Gemini, I think today's his turn. You know, he's a professional maiden, but at one stage or another, he has to beat somebody else. I've put scoops on him to see if I can't get him to be a little bit more eager, and I think today he'll run a very nice race.
And a horse that's got me a little bit stumped after that last one is a horse like Carlberg. He's a lot better than that, isn't he?
Yeah, if you go and have a look at the run, he was 5 wide the whole time. He's a horse that likes to be between horses and be pulled in a race. He wasn't in a position where he could use other horses around him to get him to run. You know, some horses need other horses around them. They need to be pulled into a race, and then from there they'll take off. I think he'll run a good race. The last time he was 4 wide coming to the straight. He ran on, but not the way. I was very disappointed in him.
Sure, maybe we can forgive the jock. Maybe he thought he was a champ de Mar.
Yeah, he won't go there.
Well done, Mr. Lensley. Good to have you back in the winners' enclosure, and long may those winners continue.
Yeah, thanks. Just to the owners, there's a lot of them. I can't remember all their names. Lucky West Investments, Mr. Carlson, Ramahana, and Paul Gatsby. You know, Paul sent me a lot of horses, and he's been very, very fortunate. A lot of the horses he sent to me has won, and a lot of them has won more than one race. So I think we could hope for this horse.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Super. Well done to Corey Lensley. Well done to Emma as well. Of course, great to have them in the winners' enclosure. And of course, Craig Zaki, all his followers, certainly would have made some money in the first. As I said, Sexy Cinderella had every chance. Last furlong, she stopped as if there was a sniper at the finishing line. But I'm sure she'll be back to fight another day. Get those PAs on. That starts in about 20 minutes. And racing for the first leg of today's bipot, and it was a nice level beginning for all of them.